Well, friends, very good afternoon. Well, what I am going to present is about my experience of the lifetime. Of course, presently I am holding water management, which is an interstate board, but I won't be touching about interstate issues, which is controversial. I will be going about water policy issues. Next. Well, I take you to all to the basics of the water policy in our India. Our growth, you must be aware about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We all are aware. And our growth of perception on water also has grown with it. Immediately after independence, we started with roti, kapra or makan. That was the focus of the government at that time, 1940s and 50s, during Nehru Gandhi era. So a lot of work has been done on the dams, canals and other part of it. Thereafter came the next stage of Bijli Sarak Pani, which was during Atal Bihari Vajpayee, national, the first NDA part, present also is called NDA, but the first NDA. The Bijli Sarak Pani was the focus of the government. Next came the Modi first government when he became the Avarilta, continuity, Nirmalta and Swachhta was the key words. Thereafter we went to Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Jal Jeevan Mission, we are there, and now we are in the Modi third phase, which is on Amrit Kal. We are talking about environment efficient river rejuvenation. These are the key words and the buzzwords which we all are listening to it, and this is the third phase, and this is the phase we are entering into, Amrit Kal. Next slide. And for this, the smart water management system is required, because we are going for environment efficient river rejuvenation, sustainability and Nirbharta. Now a smart word, of course, Makhija Sahib has given some definition about the dumb and the smart one. But this is what I'm more of an engineer, so I'm using the engineering terminology for the smart. It has to be specific, measurable, achievable, what can be achieved, and relevant, and the time bound. That's there, and for that, when we use the agriculture sense, we need the sensors, monitors. I mean, as an engineer, we perceive a smart system like that. We should have sensors to monitor soil moisture, temperature, and humidity. Then we should have the weather forecast, and a weather forecast, what is the situation. And then we should have for the agriculture and the watering calendar, and finally the irrigation strategy evolving. These systems can help farmers avoid wasting water and optimizing water uses. Anyway, these are the basic background which is there, but now coming to the water security, we have talked a lot about water security. And these are nowadays evolving terms, so it's better not to focus more on defining. The concept is more important, which the UN Water has given the working definition. It's a sustainable access to adequate quantity. So sustainable access should be there, adequate quantity. So water for all is required. Acceptable quality is also added to it. It's not only that quantity is important, quality is also important. And what we really look forward is livelihood should be there, human well-being should be there, and socio-economic development should be there. And what we look forward is ensuring protection against waterborne pollution and water-related disasters. This is the security which we are looking forward, and this is the global concept definition which is there. Next. Coming to India, these are the key, I have just checked up the key challenges which we perceive. The first is, of course, which Vivekananda has already pointed out, the water availability is reducing, and that is threatening our water security aspect. He already gave the figure of 5,000 at the time of independence. Naturally, our population was less at that time. Now our population has grown, so we have come down to Falcon Mark indicator, water scarcity region. Even on a gross level also it looks not so bad, but when we come to the specific, some of the areas have got even less than 500 cubic meter per person. This is very there. And out of 4,000 billion cubic meter of annual precipitation, we are having only 1133 utilizable, which is almost less than 30%, which is a matter of concern. Comprises of 690 of surface water and 430 of groundwater. Of course, the national water policy is there. I have been happy to be associated with the formulation of the water policy, and the focus was certainly that we should increase water storage, and water security was there. There are other so many parameters, but this is the most important, relevant to the topic of the seminar. Next. Another important is in the water sector, one was of course the availability was there. Second is the low consciousness. I am really perturbed about this because water is still considered as nature's gift, and so people call it a public good, not economic, so everyone can waste around. That's not the truth. In fact, water is an economic resource. Time and again, the time has come when we have to realize it. It is economic resource. As I've said, I am working on interstate water disputes, so states are fighting for. And the basic reason of fighting is it is economic resource. So every states are fighting for it. The water policy also, when we went for the consultation, while evolving the policy, in fact, water pricing as a chapter was introduced in that policy. And I remember when I tried to draft that chapter, the minister called me and said, "Ki, are you don't want me to be as a minister? You are putting water to be priced in the era of, freebies." Unfortunately, this is the culture in India that every government, every political party announces freebies. But it's a high time as a technical person, I keep telling my political bosses, it is not going to sustain. We have to understand that what is the economics nature, because technology is driven by economics. And if I don't go for economic packaging.
This is the reality of the day.
Yes, this is reality. So we need to go for economic packaging. And that is what I am advocating at my level with the government, but I think the entire nation has to stand. Then only the politician will be elected, not only on the basis of freebies, but on the packaging part. In fact, Andhra Pradesh people have, I am staying in Hyderabad, and Andhra Pradesh this time has really shown that the present government, earlier government in Andhra Pradesh was mostly spent all the money in freebies, and they got miserably failed. It's a lesson to the entire country. The freebie culture is not going to sustain. But that's why important. So economic packaging is very important. A few cases I am just putting up, and few suggestions which I keep giving, that water may be adequately priced, but people compensated. Prior to my present assignment, I was in Indore, where there was a crisis, and Sumitra Mahajan, the speaker madam, was there. She said, "What could we do? Everywhere we see the plastics loitering around." I said, gave a simple solution. It was a casual discussion that water bottle, it was 18 rupees, so make it 20, and 2 rupees the vendor will return when there. In just 1 week, the entire city got clean. And you see that down below the photo also, I mean, you see so many water bottles being thrown out. You just put up that part. Even childhood also, the milk bottle used to come in the polythene, and we used to preserve that plastic because that is sold at 50 paise per kg at that time. And that was good enough for to have a pocket money. This is very much packaging is required. We have to work like that. So we can go for water bottle charge, but refunded on return of plastic bottle. This will save a lot of resources in manufacturing plastic bottles. So a lot of natural resources will be saved. In the same way, irrigation water also should be priced. We can support and support the farmers by increasing the minimum support price.
The new projects are now being priced.
Yeah, it's there. New projects are there, but still,
that
that
the farmers will pay.
but still I am finding the governments are reluctant to go for, because politics. In fact, I was surprised to see every political agenda, the Bachan Patra promises, there were a lot of only talk about the freebies. That's why my concern is there, and I continue to sensitize my political bosses about this part. So same way, domestic and industrial water also should be charged and individual subsidized. In fact, I had an opportunity, as I told, prior to my present assignment, I was executive member of Narmada Control Authority, Narmada. And there we tried even water trading also. Not heard of. People talk only about Australia, people are going for water trading. In India, we have tried. In 2018, the Gujarat had a drought. They had only 40% of the water. And they said, we can't, what do you do? So I negotiated with the Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra that you spare your share of water. Gujarat will compensate. And formula was worked out that Maharashtra shared water for power, because Maharashtra needed power that. Madhya Pradesh was relatively a poor state, so they looked for the cash. So some water there, 300 million cubic meter of water was traded for some 900 crore of rupees. This trading was there, is already documented in Narmada Control Authority. So even water trading also I have tried, so it works. So water packaging and economics is the basic thing which we go for. Next. This is another part which has been asked about, the low water use efficiency. In fact, this also has been talked about. In fact, our irrigation, which consumes about 80% of water, is about 35 to 40% of irrigation. And I consider it a criminal waste of our resource. So we must have, of course, the government of India has gone for National Water Mission, and they have set up only the National Bureau of Water Use Efficiency also. I mean, I have been pushing forward and something is coming on. It's taking time, but things are in the right direction. The Bureau has set up the task force also, and I am happy that to be associated with chairing the sectoral group on irrigation, which is the major water consuming. And I mean, that was an opportunity for me to bring out my experience, what could be done to make the irrigation water use efficient. So we have made short-term and long-term strategies has been suggested, and government is working. I think slowly and gradually will come forward for this thing. Water conservation, of course, these are the common things. Water budgeting and water auditing all are proposed in that report. Next is, and the first thing, the effect of course, low consciousness is next one is there. The effect of this effort of sectoral group of the task force is this part, that our minister announced in the International Commission of Irrigation and Drainage Conference was there in Visakhapatnam, and I was myself surprised because I never realized that my recommendation would get a very prominent place in his speech. But he gave the speech and he said that Ministry of Jal Shakti is actively promoting pipe distribution network. So pipe distribution, which I think Makhija Sahib has advocated and we have been advocating, so it has come at the policy level, at the government level. More and more states are making it mandatory, pipe irrigation. The government of Rajasthan has started, government of Madhya Pradesh has done it, Telangana also is going forward, so more and more will go. I did a lot of, because political bosses, I have to convince them, so I did a lot of some homework that we are consuming roughly around 650 billion cubic meter of water, and if we go for pressurized pipe distribution network, and even at the tertiary distribution level also, we would be saving around 100 billion cubic meter of water. I have tried in 2-3 projects, like recent was Parwan project. Narmada, of course, I did it earlier, Parwan was there. And that 100 billion cubic meter of water which we save, we can go use 30 billion cubic meter for additional irrigation. So all our, whatever irrigated area is there, that can be covered. Additional 30 will be used for domestic and industrial need. We are going for urbanization, so that demand is there, that can go. And even after meeting the increased irrigation and drinking and irrigation need, we will still be left with 20 and 40 billion cubic of water, which could go to environment flow. So this is a kind of a win-win situation. That homework has been done and presented to the minister, and that's why you see the first lecture he gave after my presentation was ICID International, and at international conference he made it that his government is working towards it. Naturally, I expect, because the same BJP is continuing, so the people will work for, and you will see more and more states adopting this part. Next. That's thank you. So we need for the technology is there. We have to integrate technology with the smart water management, and we will go for better water management. I will address to a great extent the voters. That's all.